All right, let's talk about something that I know every family historian bumps into. How in the world do you share all these amazing stories and discoveries while still respecting the privacy of your living relatives on FamilySearch? We're going to dive into exactly that, how to share memories, even with family who don't have accounts, and this is a big one, how to make sure your digital legacy continues for generations to come. So, picture this. You've spent hours, maybe days, writing these beautiful stories about your siblings or your kids or your grandkids. You upload them, you're all excited to share, and then you hit a brick wall. How do you get those precious memories to the very people they're about?
And here's the main hurdle we all face, right? To protect everyone's personal data, FamilySearch automatically, by default, sets any memory attached to a living person to private. Now, it's a fantastic security feature, but it definitely creates our sharing challenge.
Yep, you heard that right. When an item is marked private, you, the person who uploaded it, are literally the only one who can see it. That incredible story you wrote about your sister? She can't see it. Your grandkids can't even see their own baby photos. Our goal is to fix that without, making everything public to the entire world.
Okay, so let's get to the solution, and it's a brilliant one that's built right into the system. Family groups. This is, hands down, the best and most effective way to create a kind of trusted inner circle to share those private memories of living people. And you know what? Setting up a group is super easy. You just go to FamilySearch, click on your name up in the top right, and find family groups. From there, you give your group a name, like the Johnson family, and then you just start inviting your relatives. It's that simple.
Now, this is where the magic happens. Once your family members join the group, any memory you add to that group's special gallery, even those private ones of living people, instantly becomes viewable to everybody inside that group. And just like that, problem solved.
But let's be real. We all have those relatives who just aren't going to sign up for a FamilySearch account, right? Don't worry. There's a fantastic way to include them too.
This is so cool. You can create what's called an album right in your memories gallery and then generate a direct, shareable link. You can text this link, email it, you could put it in a family newsletter, whatever you want. And the best part, no login is required for them to see what you've shared.
So what do they actually see when they click that link? Well, they get this really clean, simple web page that just shows the contents of that specific album. They can see the photos, read the stories you've written, and even watch a little automated slideshow. It's the perfect, low-effort way to get family members engaged who aren't, active genealogists. Now, hold on. Before you start blasting that link out to everyone, there are a few critical rules you absolutely need to understand to make sure it works exactly the way you expect it to.
So rule number 1, and this is the big one, for a memory to actually show up in a shared link, its visibility setting must be changed from private to public. If you have a private story inside that album you're sharing, it's going to stay hidden. And remember, these links are for memories only. Your relatives can't just wander off into your family tree or start messing with records. It's a really safe, contained way to share. This brings up a common point of confusion. A lot of people see that archive button and they think it's a way to make something private. So let's clear that up right now, because it's not. Just look at this breakdown. Moving a photo to your archive is purely an organizational tool. Think of it like putting a file in a filing cabinet. It just declutters your main view. If that photo is public, it is still public and visible everywhere else. To truly hide something from everyone, you have to explicitly change its setting to private. And that's when you'll see that little lock icon. Okay, let's shift gears for a second and think about the long term. You've done all this incredible work. You've organized these memories. You've gathered your family together. How do you make sure it all lasts beyond you? Here's a question we all really need to ask ourselves. If you are the one and only administrator of your family group and you pass away or you can't manage it anymore, what happens to the group? It can actually become locked up and totally inactive. The solution, thankfully, is so simple, but it is so vital. It's succession planning. FamilySearch allows you, and they even encourage you to appoint multiple administrators for every single group you create. This is the key right here to ensuring your group stays a living, active space for your family. So what's the magic number? The recommendation is to have at least 2 or 3 administrators. That way, there's always someone who can add new members, manage the gallery, and just keep the story going. And you won't believe how easy this is. Seriously. You just go into your family group, find the person's name in the member list, click those 3 little dots right next to their name, and select Make Administrator. It literally takes 10 seconds, but it secures the group's entire future. So as we finish up, I want you to really think about this. All your hard work has preserved your family story. That's amazing. But the next step is to make sure it can be passed down. By setting up your groups and planning for the future, you're not just sharing memories, you're basically appointing the next generation of storytellers. So who will you choose to help carry it forward?